Have you ever wondered about the wars that are never televised? The ones fought not with tanks but in the shadows of forests and homes? These are the silent struggles for dignity that shape the world before history books are written. What if the most important battles for freedom are fought by people whose names we may never know? This is the story of one such war from my homeland, Kenya. The story of the Mau Mau. It's not just history, it's a lesson in resilience and the power of a people who refuse to be erased. The Mau Mau's fight was a declaration: you can colonize land but never the soul of a people determined to be free. Before we enter their world, think about your own silent battles, the struggles for respect, the fight to build a dream, the effort to hold on to your integrity. The Mau Mau story is a mirror reflecting our own struggles, reminding us that courage doesn't always roar. So let's walk together into the shadows of Kenya's past and listen for the whispers that changed a nation. If you're ready to uncover the strength in silence and the courage of the unseen, stay with me. So, what was the Mau Mau? Not an army with uniforms or medals, but a movement born from desperation and hope. It was a grassroots uprising led by the Kikuyu but joined by many who felt the weight of British colonial rule. Ordinary people, farmers, taxi drivers, housekeepers, became fighters out of necessity, not choice. Their war was fought in whispers, secret codes, and messages passed through trusted hands. The forests of the Aberdares and Mount Kenya became their sanctuary and fortress. They fought with homemade weapons, but their greatest strength was unity, sealed by a powerful oath to fight for land and freedom. Most were young, choosing the dangerous forest over the familiarity of home. The Mau Mau was a rejection of the colonial narrative, a declaration: we are here and we will not be silent. Their fight was not for glory, but to exist as free people in their ancestral land. The British called them terrorists, but to many Kenyans they were heroes, the first sparks of independence. Their defiance grew from a whisper to a roar, forcing the world to confront the true cost of colonialism. The Mau Mau story shows that freedom's war is fought with conviction, not just weapons. It's a reminder that the will of the people can never be fully broken. Why would someone leave home to fight in the forest? It began with land. More than property, it was identity and future. The British seized fertile lands, pushing Kenyan families onto barren reserves, severing a sacred bond. Forced labor and crushing taxes followed, turning proud farmers into servants on their own soil. Political voices were silenced, protests crushed, leaders like Jomo Kenyatta imprisoned. Africans became subjects, not citizens, their traditions mocked, their languages discouraged. The forest called when every peaceful path was blocked, a place beyond the colonial master's reach. There, they could be Kenyan again, create their own laws, and reclaim their destiny. Becoming a Mau Mau fighter was a last resort after decades of pain and frustration. The forest was not just a hiding place, it was the only place left to fight for their soul. When all else was lost, the forest became the cradle of resistance. It was the birthplace of hope for a stolen future. The Mau Mau's war was fought in the shadows, across cities and forests, in secret networks of ordinary people. Housekeepers, taxi drivers, and clerks became invisible soldiers, passing secrets and supplies. At the heart of their unity was the oath, a sacred promise to fight for land and freedom, and never betray the cause. The oath created an unbreakable bond, giving them strength to face hardship and death. Life in the forest was harsh. Hidden camps, foraging for food, constant danger from both enemies and the wild. Betrayal was a constant threat, with rewards offered for information, turning neighbor against neighbor. Yet most held firm to their oath, maintaining loyalty and hope under immense pressure. Their battlefield was not just physical but a fight for the mind and spirit. The Mau Mau's greatest weapon was their unbreakable trust in each other. Step away from the Kenyan highlands and look inward. We all have our own unseen battles. What is your forest? A career struggle, a personal fear, or the lonely journey of building something new? Like the Mau Mau's secret codes, we share our hopes and fears with our own trusted circle, our clandestine army. The Mau Mau were labeled terrorists, misunderstood and rejected. How often have you felt dismissed for your purpose? True strength comes from conviction, not external approval. Your purpose is your oath. The seeds you plant in silence, late nights, acts of kindness, courage, create a legacy for the future. Honor your silent struggle. It's where true character and legacy are forged. Freedom is never free. The Mau Mau paid a heavy price: scars, tears, and blood. The British declared a state of emergency, unleashing terror and forcing thousands into brutal detention camps. These camps were places of torture and forced labor, designed to break the Kikuyu spirit. Families were torn apart, villages punished, and stories of suffering were hidden for decades. At the heart of the resistance was Dedan Kimathi, the legendary field marshal. Kimathi's leadership inspired hope and discipline, making him a symbol of unbreakable spirit. For years, he evaded capture, becoming a ghost in the forest and public enemy number one. In 1956, Kimathi was captured, tried and executed, buried in an unmarked grave. The British hoped to kill the movement by killing the man, but Kimathi became a martyr. His sacrifice, and that of countless others, watered the seeds of independence. Their loss was not in vain, it was the ultimate price for Kenya's future. The Mau Mau's suffering and sacrifice paved the way for freedom. Their legacy endures in every free step taken on Kenyan soil. What is the final lesson from the Mau Mau's silent war? It's about legacy. The most important work is often done in silence, without recognition. The Mau Mau fought and died for an idea, a free Kenya, planting trees whose shade they might never enjoy. In a world obsessed with applause, their story urges us to choose legacy over recognition. Are you building something that will last? Are you sowing seeds for a better future? True fulfillment comes from knowing you're creating ripples of change even if unseen. Honor the unsung heroes, those who fought in the shadows and paved the way for millions. Your silent work has power. Your resilience matters. Choose legacy. Plant your trees. Trust that future generations will find shelter in their shade. For more stories that empower and inspire, subscribe and join us in honoring the spirit of resistance.